Good afternoon, folks. We are once again diving into Torment Tides of Numenera. And so we're going to be doing that presently. Once again, I have absolutely no memory of where I was just a moment ago, so let's find out what that was and we'll keep going. And once again, in fact, and I always forget to do this, is I always forget to bring the thing over here so that I have the thing in front of me. Okay, now the thing's in front of me. We're good. Okay. I can't explain which thing it is because then that would be giving it away. I wonder if there was anything I was attempting to take notes on. I don't think I was. Not at this point. So they keep most of it in there. Yeah. Alright. I have many note cards. Way too many for these things. Alright. Let's do the thing. So I can cross the thing off my list. Let's see what is happening in a moment whilst we figure this whole thing out. Alright. I remember. Yep, we ended up here out in front of the clock. Quite suddenly. It was just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, that's how we do that. I have to wonder if there is value in going back down there and fighting those things. Because we got everything else out, pretty much. Let's talk to these folks for a moment and see if they noticed that we appeared suddenly. Have we not already asked these questions? I think we have. Because I think that we've already... I'm not reading these out loud because I think we've already done them. Oh, no, apparently I could in fact join their group if I so chose. I don't think that's a good idea. Our secrets are our own. We do not provide them to outsiders. Of course, if you were to join us, you would no longer be an outsider. He bows his head. No! I'm not going to follow a cult that worships an aspect of myself. That's a little too weird for me. I mean, it's a thing one could do, I guess. But at what price? At what price, I ask you? So let's see. What have we got going on here? This is our journal review. Can now tell Mapper what I found. It's kind of dangerous to go down there, though. That's not. I don't know if it's a good idea to give Mapper the information about that lair because, you know, you look in the wrong mirror and then you got a fight on your hands. Okay, yeah, that's a thing. Haven't done that yet. I need to do that. And that's a thing we need to do. Okay. Let's go back down there and do those things. And then we'll figure out more. First, though, do we want to, like, sell anything to anybody? That's a good question. Alright, let me see. Places to sell things. All over, really. I mean, if you feel like it. To sell and buy things. What sorts of things do we need to buy and sell? I think I'm going to wait until we're actually about to go down and fight the monsters if we're going to do that, to get any somewhat more impressive gear around. Hey! That's interesting. Why is there a person hovering there? Ah! may be an error. Alright. We actually see about that other quest. And I mean, there's one more of these I need to find. I've got the book. I can take the... I think I've done everything I should do with the book. I should probably take that back. Tracking down the murderer. Still haven't quite figured that out, but I think we need to talk to Matkina first. Yeah, I wasn't able to find anyone in the Fifth Eye, so I mean, it's like, who's left? Still need to talk to Lord Vunkin about that. There's a lot of stuff I just need to go and talk to people to finish. Discover purpose. Creature I freed from the changing gods' mirrors is called formless being with an unknown purpose. If it has one at all, it may benefit me to take it with me as I travel and inspect it when I can. I've got to let someone go to do that. That's the question, right? Help Pico decide what to do. I need to talk to Pico. Alright. I feel like there's something going on. Alright. Well, we dealt with the, I negotiated a peaceful settlement with the Stika. They have agreed to stop digging near the surface, which means the homes and public buildings in Sagiscos are safe. Pelei was displeased that I didn't steal the creature's eggs. She wanted to have leverage over them, but she couldn't argue with the results. And that was what the Stika's corpse was about, which I could have made into a digging machine, but we did not do that. Alright. Let's get to the chapel, for that is truly where we should be going. You can remember where it is. Like up here, yes? A hideous facade is carved into the rock. It depicts corpses, giant maggots, and a ghastly woman who feasts upon human limbs. Let's go in there! That sounds like a lot of fun. That's clearly where we need to be going. Alright. Are we gonna save the game? Yes. Edge in each stat pool acts like a discount when using points from that pool. Here we are in the chapel. Here's the Devourer of Wrongs over there. Here's Gazay. We saw the Devourer of Wrongs earlier. We pretended to be a city official. This enormously fat figure stands alone, motionless, because of its metal mask and the obscuring layers of devices, filters, and hoses it wears. You can't be sure if it's a man or a woman, or even if it is entirely human. Its thick neck bulges and clenches as if it was chewing something. This one looks familiar. Some mind in my mind once knew him. Oh dear. You recall seeing this being before, standing behind Riss on the execution platform in Circus Minor. What is your role in the Dendra O? I attend executions and eat the condemned once they are dead. Their meat shows me the extent of their guilt and gives me their memories, revealing motive, method, accomplices, and secrets. The Dendra O have always performed this service for the city. That's nice. Immortalizing them, preserving the knowledge of the dead is a worthy ideal, even if it's dead criminals, I suppose, so they betray their friends in death doesn't seem fair. Stealing their honor, eating dead criminals sounds a bit barbaric. Interesting, let's talk about something else. This smells to me like a tide question. We're going to raise our blue tide, because of course we are. Knowing the motivations of criminals helps the city prevent future crimes before they happen. Alright, that's good. Thank you. Oh, yeah, cultists. A teenage girl lies dead on this slab. Most of her bones are shattered, suggesting that she fell from a great height. Ugh. That's not good. Looking around here, there may be dead bodies. The corpse of an elderly man lies under the shroud. His face is peaceful, and you see no obvious cause of his death. A plump middle-aged woman lies upon the slab. Her head has been stripped of flesh. Her eyes placed neatly on the slab beside it. Content warning. Content warning. Under the cloth lies the corpse of a man in dirty, mismatched armor. He appears to have been stabbed dozens of times. We're going to be looking at a lot of dead bodies here. This corpse has been partially eaten, gnawed by human teeth. The body cavity is splayed open and most of the organs are gone. Well, it's good to be efficient. You can interact with that one. That might be where Kina is hiding. And this corpse is a wretched state, and its head and limbs crushed to a pulp with bits of wood and debris embedded in the skin. Okay. Yeah, we can interact with that one, which tells me something. This is going to be interesting. Because I say it will be. Okay. The short, squat woman rakes absently at the swollen red tattoos decorating her pale, naked scalp. Her claws draw blood, but she doesn't seem to notice. Her head jerks up at the sound of your footsteps, and her too large mouth widens in a sharp-toothed smile. We greet you, tenderling. Yes, we honor your arrival. Her eyes rove over your body hungrily. What brings you to the Dendra O? What do you wish to share with us? Her gray and pointed tongue swipes at the ritual scarring around her lips, leaving a glistening sheet of saliva. Who are you? We are Gzay of the... She pauses. You may not know the word, but we come from another world. A heavier one, more rocks and less life. Ooh. Mystical lore. She rubs her tattoos, drawing your attention to them once more. They are more than decorative. Their shape and placement indicate familial or tribal ties. Are those clan tattoos or family? Her massive grin nearly splits her face. Both, she says. We mark ourselves for each body we consume, like twigs sprouting from a branch. Everyone in our world is family. Everyone is food. Great. Our world is not like yours, she says. It is not so rich. There are no animals, no... She pauses, frowning. Vegetables? None of those. The only flesh is our flesh. She sighs. But we are blessed. When we eat bodies, nothing is lost except the corpse. The soul is preserved. She spreads her hand. The dead one becomes part of us. It becomes we. Ah, yes. The word is vegetables. You're saying that the individual dies, but the soul is dispersed among all who eat the body? There's a thing in, Gene Wolfe, Book of the New Sun, where this happens. There's a ritual where people eat of the dead and they gain the knowledge. Along with it's a gland they have to consume some of first from a beast that does it. Alzabo? Alzabo, I think it's called. The beast, not the gland. I can't remember what the gland is. You are correct, she says, nodding. We give our respect in this way, and we survive. She shrugs, until we don't. And sometimes someone dies on their own, and their soul is lost. Our people deserve better. That is why we are here. Both Indigo and Blue Tide went up. We heard rumors of the Dendra O magic, she says, concentrating. Your language's tenses clearly give her trouble. It does not stop at the soul. It pulls memories from dead flesh and soaks them into the mind. She gives you a rapturous smile. So we came through a portal in the bloom to learn this magic. We found our way to Sagus. We asked to join. She sighs. Now the portal is gone, we hear, but we will make another. In time. Oh, great. I mean, I do have questions, but I have to know, how many bodies have you eaten? We do not share this, she chuckles. We prefer our feasts to be private, but many, we find our feasts on our own. I have some questions. About the Dendra O. No, she chuckles, then covers her mouth with a barbed claw. No, we are not the voice of the Dendra O, tenderling. Speak with our leader Imbitu instead. Savor his words and drink of his thoughts. Okay, sure, creepy lady, we'll do that. She gestures extravagantly in the direction of an elderly man standing nearby, as though introducing a prince. How many bodies have you eaten again? No. Okay, farewell. You don't want to tell me about the Dendra O? Want? We do not speak of want, tenderling. We do not deserve to tell you. She smiles. Imbitu is our voice. Okay. How many bodies have you eaten again? Many, she says, realize she's blushing. But many of them before we came here through the portal. Right, farewell. We'll miss you. Wait, we'll miss you, tenderling, all of you. Oh, great. Thank you so much. I feel wanted. It's good to be wanted. Here, let's talk to this one now. This woman watches you, measuring every step, every twitch of your hands, and yet there is no fear in her. Iron lines her spine and presses her mouth into a thin, even line. You have to shift that a bit. You take a wrong turn, she says, studying the nails on her right hand. Don't see many people down here for the light of the company. For the light of the company. She steals a cautious glance at the hulking cultist nearby, then returns her gaze to you. You want something? How long have you been to Dendra O? Long enough, she says. Thought I'd found a place I belonged. Guess I was wrong. Oh, hey, that's interesting. How many false families will I find until I find my true one? Why don't you feel like you belong in the Dendra O? She exhales, casting her eyelids shut. Never mind, I shouldn't have said anything. What's bothering you? Nothing, no offense. I don't know you at all. Leave me alone, all right? Is this the other one? I did have notes. They are here. Sells joy and sorrow for coin. Family is not her own. Borrowed. It doesn't match the description, but you never know. What's bothering you? All right. Huh. Maybe. Mallet, I'm not going to touch that one yet. The burly man sneers at you, flexing massive scarred hands that could easily encircle your throat. His tongue probes his stained, sharpened teeth, and a short blood-stained club swings from a hook at his waist. So, what you doing down here, shul meat? He says. Playing in the dark. He chuckles long and low. Mallet, Tiber mutters through a frozen grin. This numb slab beat his partner to death over 2 shins. I'm the one who turned him in. Can't trust him farther than you can throw him, or even push him. Okay. Have you been part of the Dendra O for long? No, not long. What sort of work did you do before? I broke stuff, he says, his eyes gleaming with dull humor. I don't think I don't recognize you, he adds, looking over at Tiber. I remember you, and what you did. What I did, Tiber says, scratching his jaw. What I did? Oh, you're talking about how I told everyone you killed your partner for less than the cost of dinner? He smiles, but his eyes are closed. I'd do it again, and for free. Oh, this isn't good. Doesn't matter, Mallet shrugs. None of that stuff matters anymore. This is my place now. I don't do that anymore, not for revenge anyway. Tell me about the Dendra O. Don't have to tell you anything, he says, snorting. You ain't one of us. You ain't nobody. He jerks his chin at the elderly man who stands nearby. You want a tour? You talk to Imbitu. I'm busy. Is he in charge? Yeah, Mallet chuckles. And at his age, he'd better be. Not much for conversation, are you? Way I see it, he drawls, is I don't know you. You ain't done anything for me and we got nothing to talk about. Not now, anyway. He crosses his arms. So why should we? You'll open up if we have something to talk about? Oh, yeah, he snorts. You won't be able to shut me up. Ah. You can't tell me anything about the Dendra O? No, I said nothing about can't, he says, picking a tooth. The word is won't. Maybe Mbitu will feel different. Farewell. Yeah, see you later. Alright, here we go. Gonna talk to Mbitu. This looks interesting. This altar is made entirely of human bones, with its carved skeletal head mounted above. Live maggots wriggle in its empty eye sockets. Okay. This place feels slightly dangerous for some reason. I can't imagine why. I can't fathom it. I don't know. Just save over it. Hello. At first glance, it would be easy to assume that this man is dying of some wasting disease or starvation. He is little more than a too-tall skeleton wrapped in translucent flesh and a tattered robe. His hands are essentially bony claws, and yet he beams at you, his sunken eyes glittering with suppressed laughter and feverish life. Keep your guard up around this one, Alligern murmurs at your side. Mbitu's sharp, very sharp. He's eaten a lot of very smart people. Okay. Mbitu smiles. His teeth are a muddy brown. I know you, he says. So many eyes have lingered on that tattoo, that noble brow. He reaches for your forehead with a shivering skeletal finger. We want to learn. His fingertip traces a hot line over your tattoo. Yes, he says. Now I remember. Red tide went up. Blue tide went up. Old Cerisa once saw you out of the corner of her eye. A week before his accident, Olori Ma sold you a small bag of... He breathes, closing his eyes. Sugar-dusted almonds. But those aren't the only two. No, you drift through countless lives, altering and ending them, never leaving a name. He draws in his breath. Oh, I can't stand mysteries, love them, but can't stand them. Who are you? I'm not the man you think I am. That was someone else. Or, let me remain a mystery. Yeah. Alligern sighs, but does not speak. Mbitu says, the same face, the same tattoo, but yes, different eyes. Perhaps we have a secret twin. He coughs gently against the back of his hand. So, what brings you to the chapel of the Dendra O? What brings you to the chapel of the Dendra O? So he returns, cast off. What happened this time, I wonder? Tell me about yourself. Oh, there isn't much to tell. I've spent most of my years in this little chapel, he says, casting a fond look around. The Dendra O has rather consumed my life. Ha! Consumed my... I'll have to remember that one. Why did you join the Dendra O? Well, that is a good question, a very good question. I congratulate you on asking it. He rubs his hands together with a papery sound. I cannot tell you much. Outsiders rarely understand what calls us to the Dendra O, but you have kind eyes, and so I will tell you that it was kindness. Beyond that, however, I cannot answer. My apologies. I want to know more about what drew you to the Dendra O. And I would love to tell you, he says, and it is clear that he would, but the full answer is rather tangled in the mysteries of our order. I simply cannot indulge you. Again, my apologies. I want to talk about something else. On to more interesting topics than an old man's past, he says, flashing a stained grin. Lovely. Tell me about your cult. We worship the great Queen Sarlavan, Lady of Maggots, Goddess of Entropy, and Guardian of the Empty Barrier, he says, then pauses, tapping a muddy tooth thoughtfully. Although worship is the wrong word, perhaps. He points to the altar nearby. It displays a skull with flat, unforgiving eyes buried in its hollow sockets. She waits on the other side of death with her billions of squirming children. They devour whatever passes into their realm, and rightfully so. Everyone must eat. His eyes twinkle fondly. But whatever she and her children eat is lost forever, and so the Dendra O work to preserve the minds and the mysteries of mortals before death claims them. We hold their shrill little thoughts in our minds and let them tumble around as they will. He shivers. It feels marvelous. I have some questions. Lovely, he says. This may surprise you, but we rarely get curious visitors. Most people seem quite nervous about us. He wets his cracked lips and awaits your questions with polite interest. What does your cult's name mean, anyway? What does your cult's name mean, anyway? The old man's eyes dart from side to side, and he leans in. Nobody knows, he whispers, delighted. It's a mystery. Isn't that wonderful? How long have the Dendra O existed? Centuries, he declares. Though how many I couldn't say. We aren't devoted to paper records, as you might imagine. We prefer keeping them in our heads. He runs his tongue along the edge of his rotting teeth. Also, and this is slightly embarrassing, none of us managed to eat our founder. He simply disappeared one day. Can you imagine? Oh, dear. It's going to be the changing god, isn't it? It always turns out to be the changing god. Who founded your cult? A man named Melmoth Leviarm, he says and sighs. I do wish one of us had managed to eat him. Delightful. How do you preserve humanity's knowledge? Oh, I thought everyone knew that, he says, surprised. We eat the flesh and organs of corpses to assimilate their minds, then... He trails off, noticing her expression. What? More interested in the process? Nothing, I'm grateful to you. Humanity's great. I mean, I am more interested in the process, that's fair. It might, however, be better to butter him up right now. Yep, we gotta lean in the direction of the blue. Ah, fellow Scholarch, he says. Well, it's quite simple and impossibly complex at the same time. He points to the various hoses and chambers adorning his robes. We do not chew on the corpses, of course. That would be quite messy, and lethal, most likely. Humans are a diseased bunch. Our suits liquefy dead flesh, extracting the information contained within. When we feed upon this enriched flesh, it becomes part of us. Oh, boy. At any rate, we scour the streets for bodies, left unclaimed. We bring them here and lay them upon the biers. His sweeping hand directs your attention to the still shrouded figures lying around the chamber. When a body is ripe with unplucked secrets, we gather about it and taste it together. Let a lifetime of thoughts flit around ours like a little fish. He smacks his lips happily. Interesting. Unlikely. You're a cannibal. Interesting. Oh, it is, he says. And dangerous, of course. It does drive us all the slightest bit mad. He purses his lips like he's given away a naughty secret. But it's worth it even so. I bet it is. What's the purpose of the intro? You know, I want to talk about something else. Oh, yeah, he says, very clearly disappointed. Very well. I am helping Folsom investigate some trouble in the underbelly. Can I ask you some questions? Of course, he says. And do tell Folsom hello from me. We are dear friends. He raises a finger. Well, he frowns more than I smile, but we do have a grand time whenever we meet, which is often. One of Folsom's protégés was murdered. Do you know anything about it? Not a thing, he says, then grins. Why, am I a suspect? Maybe. Keeping your own counsel, he says, nodding sagely. Very wise, very, very wise. You sure you don't know anything? I don't, he sighs. I wish I did. Even in the best of times, Folsom is such a surly dinner companion. I can only imagine his mood now. Dinner companion! I can't imagine why he would be surly while you are dining with him. I'd like to question your acolytes. Would that be all right? Can't allow it, I'm afraid, he says with a thin smile. Not without reason. They're young and easily distracted from the path I've laboriously carved before them. Perhaps another time. I'm done talking about the investigation for now. So soon, he says, folding his hands. Very well. A sculptor told me that your people may have found a man killed by a strange creature. Yes, he says, I believe I know the poor man. Dry as a leaf, hollow as an eggshell. Barely any mind left in there at all. He clucks his tongue. Inspect him at your leisure. He's the one with the charred skin on his brow. That's probably the one that you can interact with.
Remember that.
And apparently we're going to remember that. Now, I don't know much more about him, he says, chuckling, though I can assure you we plumbed the depths of his mind and body for answers. But I seem to recall seeing him before, possibly not through my eyes, mind you, in Cliff's Edge. He was coming out of a building near the chirurgical parlor. Really? That's something to look into. Yeah, I think we're good for now. Farewell, take care. Take great care. Thank you. Skulls. Apparently the previous Torment had a rather important skull in it.
Why not?
And, I only played a tiny bit of it, but it is, I do remember there being one. Leader of the Dendra O Inferno's horror's victim lived in Cliff's Edge. His house was near the chirurgical parlor. Perhaps a clue to his identity can be found there. Good. No. Yeah, this is gonna... Yeah, it's not really gonna help us right now. Okay. Back over here. Let's look at the body, shall we? I feel like that conversation could have gone a couple of different ways, maybe. So I'm gonna save the game here. I'm going to view the corpse now. A strong aroma of charred flesh rises from the dingy cloth over this corpse. Let's lift the shroud, shall we? Content warning! Okay. You carefully move the shroud to the side. There's no way around it. This dead man was a cast-off, and it would be hard for him to be deader. His flesh is papery, desiccated. His tattoo, or rather the charred remains of it, has burned through his skin and into the bone beneath. And, of course, there is the matter of his charred eye sockets and his horrified gaping mouth, that too. Parts of the corpse are missing, remnants of an aborted Dendra feast. You aren't surprised they stopped. Yep. Examine the corpse again, just in case there's anything there. Eyes drawn to the remnants of Castoff 2. Looks like it burst into flame when he died, burning right through his skin into the skull beneath. Sure, let's touch it. Yay, pain. The last thing you remember before your fingertip grazes the tattoo is a rising buzz. Time stutters and breaks. Panting softly, you awaken, leaning against the bier for support. Your arm burns, your temples throb, and white static claws at the corners of your vision. Someone was screaming in that lightless, timeless void. You remember that much, but it wasn't you. None of the Dendra are looking your way. We gained 2 XP! Look at the corpse one more time. Okay, we're done. That was fun. Yeah.
Alright, here I go.
Thank you. Alright, yeah. Now that we've touched the corpse, is there anything different that you have to say?
Let's go.
All right. We're gonna go now. I assume that we've sucked this room dry. Okay.
Fine.
For now, anyway. Maybe we'll have more to talk to them about later. Spend XP to advance your characters. XP is gained mostly from solving quests, but can also be gained by making discoveries. I think we just discovered how painful it is to touch that tattoo. Meet. Yeah. We went down there, no sign of Matkina. I guess if we want to go back there, we can always talk to Chkekt. And there's our buddy, the Outcast. That's Pauper. That's Mapper. Is it safe to give Mapper that information? I don't know. I also am wondering if perhaps we have to fight those creatures in order to find Matkina, that maybe she's on the other side of the mirror with them. Maybe that's where she went. I don't know.
That's best.
Underbelly investigation. Have you found it yet? Do you see with new eyes? Have you heard anything about the murders down here? Murders? What murders? Alarm colors his face and a faint red streak runs through his tattoos. No one tells me anything. He sighs. One of the drawbacks of being a drifter, I suppose. No one thinks to keep you informed. Then he looks around. Of course, in a place like this, people don't generally talk to each other much anyway. No, apparently not. Have you been to the Stick Lair? I can tell you what's there. Are you joking? Can you really? Tell me! He stares avidly at you, his blue prosthetic gleaming. As you speak, a space clears on his skin, and new lines pull themselves to the surface. He moans as if in the throes of deep pleasure. Stick Lair, yes! Like I was there. The eye clicks and whirs for a moment, and then he stares at the new tattoo. That smell! Did you notice the smell in their lair? Like lightning and dust. He smiles. My thanks to you. You've done right by me. And I guess we still have to... Alright. He leans forward, and the blue eye begins to gleam more brightly. Tell me about it, he whispers. As you speak, Mapper stares at the exposed patch of flesh on his arm. New lines etch into his skin, unfurling themselves across the space. He smiles tightly and shifts in his seat. Yes, he mutters. Yes! He points to one line. Here, in the void beneath the city. What's this in the mural? He looks more closely at his arm and recoils. Ah, gods, it's terrifying even from here. Yeah, it is. That's the sorrow. He rubs at his skin as if trying to rid himself of the mural's image. His blue eye looks anywhere but at himself, and he shivers bone deep. I don't envy you seeing that thing, friend. No, not at all. He slaps his face a bit, bringing some flesh to cheeks, and smiles again. Anyway, I owe you a map, don't I? He takes a big breath and says, The White Death is hiding in a place called the Cave of Last Words. It's an old thieves' bolt hole. They say Chila herself used it, but they don't say where it is. He smiles. Persistence pays, though. That's always been my watchword. Okay, yeah, he was going to tell us where she was then, I guess. So hard to remember from week to week. It's probably been a couple of weeks with this guy. Cave of Last Words. Oh yeah, so he told us what it's called, but not where it is. There's one way to get to it through the caravanserai, but it's sealed tight, and I never found a way in, but you can get there from the underground. The Stika know. They dug there. They can dig there again. Okay. So, I'm going to talk to the Stika about it. Mapper revealed that Makina is hiding out in a place called the Cave of Last Words. I can only get there by traveling underground. So there are things there. Alright. I want to try talking to the crime boss again, because there's information there. Hit the thesaurus, shall we? Alright. Just bring in what information we have. Unblinking and moving, the huge man waits for you to approach. Cocked eyebrow gives you permission to speak. Do you have any new insights in the killer's motives? If this murder was intended to hurt me, it has succeeded. If it was meant to send a message, it failed. Alright, that's it.
On it.
Figure out what to look for here. Okay. Let us do some talking to people on the surface. I figure that will be helpful right now. Okay, we're down there. Where do we want to go? That goes to Cliff's Edge. That goes to the chapel. That goes to Government Square. That goes to the Circus Minor. Alligern's lab. Oh, that's Alligern's lab. That's where Alligern hangs out. Okay. Here's that question of if we're going to ditch somebody. So that we can get at and possibly other folks. We'll have to see. Let's do these things first.
Now.
More things to check out. Applying effort on attacks is critical to success in crises, but be careful not to drain your pools too quickly. Oh yeah, I gotta tell that guy that they're gone. Cliff's Edge. Difficult convos, which are about to happen. He smiles as you approach again. Ah, the likely one is back, and you've returned a hero. I heard how you dealt with the sticker. Fine work. He shakes his head. Sadly, the rogue stickers we've been hunting here is still at large. I don't suppose you've spotted it yet. Stickus escaped. Other sticker dug a tunnel from below to free it. He frowns unhappily. This is most disappointing. How did they even know it was there? Very strange. He sighs. Well, I thank you for trying, but sadly I cannot reward you for finding the stickers when it is lost. My apologies. A fantastic opportunity gone. Such a pity. But there is something I would like to blackmail you about real quick. Oh well. Maybe we'll do that later. I always keep hitting the wrong thing here. So you escape with the help of its skin. Lord Bunkin left Cliff's Edge, clearly disappointed, and the angry crowd dispersed. Alright. Now the next difficult conversation we will have will be with Pequot. You're back, he says. Tension ripples through the studied calm of his voice. Good. Actually, I'm still not sure what to say for him to do. This is difficult. Beyond that, aren't we supposed to search around here?
Yes.
Salty air only partially mutes the cloud of putrid sweetness clinging to this jumble of fallen wood, stone, and iron. Until recently, this was someone's home, but unstable ground must have caused it to collapse. Search the rubble for clues. You shift aside broken pieces of furniture and small pieces of rubble, but you find nothing of value. After a short while, you realize what has happened. Someone has already picked through the ruins and taken the more accessible valuables. You stand back concentrating. Nothing about the pile of stone is familiar, but the view from where the door once stood, a boundless horizon falling into the sea, is.
I'll remember that.
It appears to be the house where the Castoff once lived, but either he left no clues of his identity, or they were taken by the scavengers. It might be helpful to ask around the area to see if anyone spotted someone looting this house. Yeah, there are several things I would like to do here. Searching the rubble, you rummage through dusty piles of stone and wood looking for anything interesting, but no, these ruins appear to have been picked clean. Anamnesis time. 95 is not bad. Fingers of wind rake at your face. You squint into the sunlight trying to remember. You've stood here before. You know you have. Letting your thoughts untangle. The skyline tilts and you stagger as the memory engulfs you. You grip the edge of the crude banister, grimacing at the sea. The calm of the scene no longer touches you as it once did, nor, you realize, does this body. You smile at your own impatience. Your restlessness must rival the ocean itself.
Making a note.
A gust of salty air bears the memory away in ribbons, leaving your mind aching and dry atop the ruins of the house. There's little doubt now, the changing god and the Castoff killed by the sorrow once lived here. Alright. Dig through the pile, find the source of the stench. So I'm starting at 30 and can up it to 90, which is not bad. If I sacrifice a bunch of might. He is similarly able to do that. Let's use Tiber's because that'll at least leave him with some one. The smell intensifies as you heave aside a slab of ceiling. A swarm of startled insects spins away into the sky, revealing the body of a young woman, torn and crushed. An invisible hand rips the air from your chest and strength from your lungs. You fall, feeling a presence close around you, a heat on your back. Who's there? Your words are a whisper. You can barely breathe now, and the heat fills you like a fever. Suddenly, a cool hand covers your burning eyes. A smooth arm folds over your stomach.
I'll remember that.
And just like that, the heat is gone. You whirl around. No one is there, but you sense something has changed in the labyrinth. Don't we have enough people in there already? A new reflection is forming in the labyrinth. Oh, joy.
Yes.
Anything else? Corpse of the young woman lies undisturbed among the ruins of the house. It became her calm. We're gonna walk away now. Great, that's awesome. Now a shadowy reflection has appeared in the labyrinth. When I discovered the body of a young woman in their own house, a new reflection began to take shape in my mind. In order to interact with it, I'll need to form a stronger connection. Scavengers pick the Castoff's house clean. Someone near the house might be able to tell me if they spotted anyone digging through the rubble. Let's ask Piquo. Yeah, of course we're going to have to go down and kill ourselves again in order to talk to that person. So let's wait until we've got a little more information first. Hey, Piquo. Did you see anyone looting that was that a dragon? Did you see anyone looting that ruined house against the cliff? No, but I wasn't really watching. He nods at the cultists who are lurking nearby. Maybe they saw something. Alright, I'm gonna save before I point him in one direction or another. I'll go ahead and save over that. Let's talk to the cultists again. There's a lot going on here. Hello again, beloved vessel. How may I assist you? Who lived in that ruined house against the cliff? The cultists glance at the others. They shake their heads. A man, she says. But we don't know his name or where he is now. He always took great care to avoid us. I think someone may have looted that ruined house against the cliff. Did you see who it was? Yes, the cultist says, a mischievous expression crossing her face. But I wonder if I can convince you to share something with us in exchange for our help. She ignores the startled looks from her fellow cultists. Will you tell us about your birth? No, my time is more valuable than yours. Now tell me what I need to know. Famous, I woke up on a theater stage, halfway through a production of Galabraxi the Exotic Automaton. I woke miles above the world, falling to my death. Yeah, sure. You can't be serious, she says, blanching. It's true, without getting into the particulars, I survived the fall and came to understand myself. Yes, no one could have survived, but I did. Clearly, she manages. None of you were lucky enough to wake up in bed, were you? She clears her throat. Well, a deal's a deal. Silver tide raised.
I'll remember that.
We did see someone looking around the rubble before you arrived, she says, glancing toward the pile of rubble. Dirty children, orphans perhaps, were digging through the ruins. I believe they took some food and valuables, but we were trying not to stare. Oh. Orphans. I know there were a couple of orphans talking. Well, not here, in a different part of the city. Well, I don't know that they were orphans necessarily. Yes. Okay. Let's figure out what we're going to tell. I am worried that this is not going to be good for this kid. But at the same time, I mean, it's his decision. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, geez, look. Yeah, okay. Alright. Why don't you decide what to do with the money? Alright, he says, softly staring down into a pouch of shins that's heavy but not heavy enough. Talk to Crooked Keek. She misses you. Change your appearance. Become strong. Besides changing your appearance. Talk to Keek. She misses you. That's where you went? He says. That's what you think will help me? I left them for a reason. I told you why. He hangs his head. I miss her too, he admits. But I'm not going back. Not ever. She doesn't need me, and there's no way I'd go back for anything else. Oh, two people can earn money faster than one. Crooked Keek is starving. If anything happens to her, I'll blame you. This is probably a better way to take. I'm starting at 55. You are starting at 60. Yeah, let's just do that.
Making a note.
I hadn't thought of that, he says. He said, when I left. I was just a kid, now I can teach her where the work is. You can save up twice as much money in half the time. He casts one more longing look at the parlor, then nods at you. Thank you for everything you've done. It couldn't have been easy. And the indigo tide went up, apparently. And he fades to black because we can't handle the, that happening in any other way. Pilfered Numenera, let's buy some. Alright. There's a lot going on. What now, I wonder? Well, so we took care of that. Now we can actually, well, now we can go back down and get whatever the thing is we're looking for. Call? A call, is it? A call, is it called? From Mother Tamaz? Yes. I do wonder, there are many ways that could have gone. If anything, her angry muttering is intensified. She drags the chain of beads between her knuckles, staring into space. What now, my lad? She says. I need to talk to you about Pico. Aye, what of him? I have solved his problem. Have you? Mother Temez's eyes unfocus and her fingers trace the borders of the hollow bead. Mayhap you did, she says at last. The lad slaved to earn that money. Mayhap he and that girl will pull their shins and escape the underbelly together. Or maybe they'll die there, hand in hand. She shakes her head. I know you did what you thought was right. Clan be a comfort, though they're often a tangle of their own. The lad scarcely needs more. She roots about in a saddlebag hanging at her hip. Take the call, lad. You earned it. Yes. Off with you. You've done enough here. Thank you. Call shield. It's a shield. Mother Tamaz claimed to have found the membrane that protected you during your birth. In the skies over Sega's cliffs, she used the membrane to craft a shield that is transparent and thin, but surprisingly tough. Okay. Stay safe, my lad. Thank you. Now that that's done... That was down there. Yeah. Convince Pico to rejoin Crooked Geek in the underbelly. They were childhood friends, and they're the last survivors of their tribe, so hopefully they'll be a comfort to each other. Mother Tamaz rewarded me for my help. Yes. That was completed. Alright. So, still more things to deal with. I may have to trade information to complete some of these. We shall see. What's next? Right, no, I needed to move to my inventory. So this shield is plus 10% of evasion. This is plus 15% on evasion, so let's use that. Let's see. Who wants a shield? Can you use shields? We'll find out. There you go. Good, good. Okay. So, next. What's next, I wonder? I think we have fewer and fewer things to worry about here, which is nice. So we got to figure out this deal with the veterans. Clarion has been hanging around the Fifth Eye, trying to recruit veteran warriors named Dama Theboros, Leto, Feriak, and Ziobe. She wants me to convince as many of them as I can to join the battle. Dama doesn't consider leaving. Till the adversary has been defeated, Ziobi's made it clear. He's tired of war. He seems devoted to Dama. Ferak refuses. Theberos. I don't think we asked Theberos. Maybe we should do that. I have a feeling this third person might be in one of the areas we haven't been yet. So that's a thing. We gotta return the book. Still gotta figure out about the murderer. Not sure what's going on there. Adversary. That's another thing. We looked at everybody. We can go and compare. For we're going to have to ditch somebody. For this, we're going to need to come across somebody important. For that, we're going to probably need to be able to beat people up. So, and for that, we're going to have to go down there and die again. So, I think what we're going to do, so we're going to go back to the tavern and try to lean on some of those things a bit. Caravanserai is up there. There's something we were supposed to look for in the Caravanserai. I have forgotten what. I keep thinking about, you know, going and fighting that one guy again to try to get him to come with us eventually. No, the tavern's right over there. Let's just go there. Okay. Let's go to the tavern. Figure that out. Check the journal screen to refresh your memory. It is updated automatically anytime you make progress in the story. Alright. I feel like there's stuff left undone here. Tavernage. Okay. Check briefly with Theberos about this thing. Really? Okay. Do you actually agree with Dama that action is its own reward? He seems particularly surly about this. You know that good wishes don't get the landlord off your back, right? Satisfaction for a job well done isn't magically bring food to the table. You and Dama both. It's like you believe in a special world where people get by on the force of their own good nature. It's not like that. Maybe in stories, not here. Just want to see where the conversation went. Or you do the right thing because it's right. So why would anyone do the right thing? Fame, power, legacy? All of that comes down to this. Making life something that's not a complete skis show. I eat scraps. I have to beg to make my cash, spin stories in seedy taverns, put up with people who've never seen true danger in their lives, and I've got to grin and take the heckling because hey, being an invisible war hero don't pay the rent. He spits on the floor. Yeah, sure, do it because it feels good, that's fine. But in the end, you're playing with yourself, giving yourself a good solid stroke of the ego. If that's all you want from your life, go right ahead. To me, I'd prefer to eat a piece of bread that ain't moldy. I could plant ideas in people's heads, make myself rich by bending their minds. But if I take away their free will, I'm not any better than the despots I hate, am I? So you just want to get paid for your work? Yes, right now what I'm doing is an amateur hobby. A brain-destroying, reality-saving hobby, and I don't see a single rotten shin for it. Would it help if I thanked you and gave you money? Is this about making a difference? You know, I've asked myself that plenty of times. Mostly it's about knowing that someone appreciates what I've done for them, that I've turned down opportunities, that I've given my life for them because I believe in what we do. All I really want is some damned gratitude for the life I've sacrificed in this invisible service. Hells, there's a street called Nana Torvus. Maybe she did some good work in her time, saved some orphans, brought hope, who knows? Why not name a street after me? After all of us. But no, we don't even get a trash-strewn alley to our names. We're lucky if we get paupers' graves. He sighs. Fact is, it's likely about my regrets. Way too late in my life to change course. Doubt I'd change a thing about what I've done. To be honest. Being unethical doesn't sit well with me, it turns out. So I'll take what I've got. He sighs. I really wish the right thing paid better, though. Clarion needs strong allies to fight in the endless battle. Would you be willing to join her? I don't think I've asked him that yet.
I'll remember that.
Not while Dama's convinced that one of the adversaries still lives. No, besides I've got other concerns. Maybe later. Okay. Yeah, the words of Kra. Well, now that I've got an answer from everybody... Thibber says he won't join the endless battle while his last adversary is still a threat. He also hinted that he has some troubles of his own. Which, you know, yes. But now that we've talked to all of them, maybe we can talk to Clarion. Tell me any more about these veterans. Yeah. Merits of conflict. Very well. There's a lot going on here. But it was interesting, we talked to him and there was a different response. I'm gonna see if there's anything different here. Tell me what you think they are again. Only a smaller part of what I know. What I fear is that only one adversary exists and it's becoming aware of us. That's all I've got for right now. Want to help us out with something? Need to figure some things out? No. Questions about the world, maybe? No. No, this is just all about what we have. The Sage's Protectorate. Alright. So, I think... leaning on this isn't going to get us too many places. I mean, we've already got a lot in the labyrinth already. I guess we could trap the words of Cry in there too, just for the sake of it. We are at the point where we're starting to hit walls, so I mean, we can try doing it. Alright, I want you to put something terrible in my head. I have a space in my mind and I can contain the words of Kra there. He leans back across his arm. Really? Now is that you're a better custodian for the words of Kra than I am. I'm more than strong enough. Use your psychic ability to read me. Oh, and I've got to do it myself. Oh, 65 isn't terrible. But apparently not good enough. So you feel something like the skittering of spiders across your mind. They plunge inside so you sense his presence in the labyrinth and you can feel his mind recoil. No, I don't think so. It's not just your mind in there. Many minds share that space, and honestly, I just don't trust that you'll guard the word. To release the word, unburden yourself. Are you seriously suggesting I unleash a civilization-destroying word because I'm tired? Yes, I am. No, I thought you'd appreciate the joke. I mean... It's a good question, isn't it? I mean, I can't think of anything else, right? Red tide went up. No, not really. Forget it. I wonder if that was an idea that actually had merit. I wonder if we restore, we'll have a better chance. I'm just curious. Tell me about the Words of Cry. I just want to refresh my memory about it. Let's try this again. No, I have a feeling we're supposed to fail that. You're a damned idiot, no come to no end. No good end. Sorry I asked for your advice. Aww. So, I think what we're going to do is go back and not do that. And come back later when we have the ability to put more points into that. We can put more effort into it. Alright. Yeah, we're going to have to start. We're going to have to do some other stuff. Might involve drinking, I don't know. There are a lot of things we haven't tried yet, though. A lot of things we still need to explore, so we can do that. And trading information is one of those things. I think that's where we're headed now. I think. I think so. I'm not sure. There's much going on. I mean, do we want to go back and fight this guy? Just because we can? I'm going to pretend I'm ready for the next part of your test. So my ace says, nodding gravely, prepare yourself. I will not hold back this time. Diviner's assault. Launches a two-handed blow at your face. Faster now, but not deadly. Leave out of range. I mean, there are things we can do here. Gotta like spend all of my speed every time I talk to this guy. Lunge into the attack, driving your arms up between his fists and pushing them apart. One hand whips around the back of his neck and pulls him into range for your forehead. Crack. He stumbles back, blinking, smiling. You're ready. Oh, have I passed all your tests? I don't want to try fighting him again now, though. I don't have any more points to dump into it. Unless we go into like proper combat and then I can nano him to death. That would be something. Let me see, do I have things that can help my speed? Health. Ah. Interesting. Okay. I can heal some of my speed. Alright. Let's use that. On me. Let me go ahead and save here again because this is where we are. Message. Fighting. Fighting? I don't know, maybe. It's interesting how this goes. Okay. Let's see. You have, he says, but I remind you one more time, this will be a fight to the death. He draws one foot back, settling his weight on his hand. He comes up and drawn part, tightening into fist. Are you certain you want to do this? Yes. Very well, the challenge has begun. He regards you with a and if he does kill me, I can always go back into the labyrinth and have a chat. Chest rising and falling, a warm wind tumbles around the stones between you. He flows with it, spinning away from the ground. His foot slices toward your head in a blur. Time slows, as if the universe is holding its breath. Crocodile kick! Quick fingers or smashing. Hammer of the changing god! Fist of the Last Castoff. This Hammer of the Changing God would, yeah. I'm gonna have to go quick here, right? Alright, let's give this a shot. Oh, that didn't go well. Failure. You aim a punch for his throat, but as fast as you are, you're still too slow. His foot strikes the side of your neck with a soggy crunch. Time resumes. The last thing you see is Aiden's sorrowful face. Then you die. But you got XP, which is nice. Yep, back here again. Hey, how's it going? Made the wrong choice. I mean, we could chat to some stuff. Chat to some things that are here. How did him get in? Couldn't say, says Franny, but it was probably imprisoned for a reason, and not just because it shows up in minds uninvited. Be careful. Anything changed since the last time I was here? Look around, it's your mind. Yeah, you keep saying that. I want to bring but I can't. Here we go. A woman-shaped hole in the air stands before you, her palms outstretched, and you sense something different. A smell, if emotions could smell. It is sharp confusion and a sense of displacement. Somehow this woman shade knows she does not belong here in your mind.
I'll remember that.
Oh, says the spectre, strolling up beside you. A reflection from a different cast-off, isn't it? He studies the outline's outstretched hands. She's lost something, he says after a moment. Something out in the world that she misplaced, or was taken from her. If you want to draw her here, you'll have to find it. You turn back to the woman-shaped void. She continues to face you, hands held out imploringly, ignoring the spectre completely. What is it that you want? For a second, another outline flickers in her outstretched hands, a box or a cube-like shape. Then it is gone, and it doesn't return. Interesting. Who are you? Tidal affinity. The woman-shaped void does not respond in any way. The tides within you, however, do. You feel them uncoiling from you, reaching into the gap for whatever is lost within. Perhaps you can use them to pull the woman into being. Oh? I wouldn't, he says conversationally. I mean, it will probably work, but there's no telling what will happen. Just off the top of my head, it might give you the worst headache you've ever had, but it would probably be worse than that. I don't want to force her to take shape. I mean, if we bring a box, if we get a hold of this box, then it might help. Can you hear me? You fancy that you hear your words echoing in the dark, hollow space within the woman-shaped outline, and someone very distantly calling back. I don't think she can hear you, he says. For that matter, I don't think it's even a she right now. She's more of a placeholder than a person. An arrow pointing somewhere else in the labyrinth. He peers cautiously into the outline in the air, as though it is a long and potentially dangerous tunnel. You'll need to find what she's missing before you can bring her forward, and you won't find it here, I think. Alright. And, I mean, no point going back up there because I don't have what I need to bring forth the third image yet. Also, can't bring back with us because we still have 3 companions. We gotta figure that out. Alright. Well, let's wake up. Hopefully. See what happens. If you find yourself wondering where to go, what to do, check the journal screen to refresh your memory. Death. The stink. Oh, and B2 again! Hi! The stink of it of dried blood and rotting flesh fills your nostrils. This is your first clue that you are somehow still alive. The second is the glow of candlelight warm on your eyelids and the icy stone beneath your back. Slippers scuff the ground near your head. Ah, says an elderly man, our mysterious visitor is alive after all. I'm glad we waited to feast. He clucks his tongue. Though you were quite dead when we found you. Open your eyes, child. He would have been quite an interesting specimen, but not dead. No, not dead. Should I groan first? I feel like I should groan first. There are other figures in the room. They gasp, staggering away from where you lie. Not Mbitu. He leans closer. You crack your eyes open in time to see his smile widening, displaying jagged teeth. He reaches out. I knew that you were special, he whispers. So many eyes have settled on that face. Moving through the crowds, chin high and proud, sunlight kissing that wonderful tattoo. He reaches out a trembling finger towards it. I think we're gonna say not to touch me this time. Yeah. Don't touch me. Of course, he says, lifting his finger. Then he glances at you sidelong, almost shyly. I'm afraid I must ask you for a simply unthinkable favor. Silver tide raised. You may have suspected that we were going to eat you, he says. You may have suspected that we were going to eat you, he says, raising a bony finger. This is somewhat true, but only so that the wonders of your life would not be lost. He looks down bashfully. And now we know you cannot die. Well, would you do us the honor of letting us eat you? Just a little bit. If you do, we will share some of our deepest mysteries, and yours, with you. He folds his hands. And we'll pay you, of course. How much? Sharing knowledge? Yes, go ahead. Oh, God. Ah! I'd rather not be eaten. How much do you want? I mean, do you need... Yeah, sure. Rin claps her hands over her eyes. Yeah, great role model you are. And Mbitu and his followers lean over you in well-orchestrated unison, cutting slits in your flesh, Hoses dangle from their wrists, leading into their suits. They snake seemingly of their own accord into your incisions. For a moment, nothing happens. Then you hear a faint whirring as spinning blades grind your organs, suck the pulp up through the hoses. Someone is screaming, and you have a fairly good idea who. Eventually, mercifully, you die. I permanently lost 2 health pool. Maximum health pool is now 24. Damn. But we gained XP. Hard won that XP. After an indefinite amount of time, you open your eyes and B2 sits beside you reading a book. Ah, he says, setting it down. Welcome back. What an exquisite experience that was. Though I'm certain you don't need to hear about it while you're waking up. He beams. At any rate, I took the liberty of adding a token of our gratitude to your belongings. Do come back to me whenever you're ready to discuss what we've learned from our little feast. We got 50 shins. Oh, hey, we got money for it. And a viscera sprig. Oh, joy. What's this? When hit with a melee attack, deals 1 relativistic damage. And he confers bleeding to the attacker. Active 3 rounds. This charm was given to you by MB2 in gratitude for letting the Dendra or her consume you. It is shaped like a sprig, but it is made of bone fragments and viscera that were harvested from your body. While disgusting, it displays a level of loving craftsmanship. The ornament has been imbued with mystic properties known only to the Dendra or her, and it acts as a ward against attacks. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Now, if you happen to have another semi-fatal accident, rest assured that we will bear you back to our chapel as tenderly as a bag of baby birds. He pats your hand gently. And you have my word we won't take so much as a nibble without your permission. Oh my God. I'm not averse to strangers nibbling on my tenders, but I think you took that a bit too far, lad. Oh, jeez. Well, that was interesting. Maybe they'll tell us more now. Jeez. Ah! How we doing? We doing okay? Did we learn anything? I don't think we learned anything. That's an ornament. Okay. Yeah, sure. There you go.
Good.
That's gonna look great. That hanging on you. Okay. That was nice. Wow. Okay. I've got 584 shins. We should probably rest again soon. Alright. Now that we've done that, it could be worth something. Let's find out what that earned us, shall we? Ah, restless corpse. Mbidu beams at you, clasping his skeletal hands together like a tangle of twigs. Such a curiosity you are. What did you learn from eating my flesh? Quite a bit, he says cheerily, then grimaces. Too much, in fact. Your mortal flesh proves slightly too rich for some of my children. He pats his belly. I have quite a bit more experience and fortitude than them, however. For me, it is merely overwhelming rather than explosive. Oh, jeez. I shall endeavor to tell you what I have learned, but I fear it may not be as clear as you would hope. It always takes a while to digest. He stifles a giggle. The information contained in just one life. Your body contained countless wonders. We will be decades absorbing them all. He sighs. In other words, my interpretation may sound somewhat unfinished, unclear, mystical. He pronounces the last word with distaste. But I would happily share these visions with you. Merely ask. Share a vision with me. Of course, he says and closes his eyes. Teetering gently, he draws a long, smooth breath. He hates the bed, this prison that holds her. He growls, and the voice is scarcely... He hates the bed, this prison that holds her. He growls, and the voice is scarcely his own. His cheerful brow contorts. He swears words in tearful haste and wears them like jewels in a crown for centuries, even long after they have lost their luster and their purpose. And B2 opens his eyes, beaming. Didn't hear a word of it, he says, but it felt fascinating. I hope it was helpful. And do come back if you want to hear more. You want to tell me anything else that's going on? Oh dear, I was hoping it was all over by now. You sure you don't know anything? I mean, I let you eat me. I don't. Wish I did best of times. I don't wanna. Yeah, it won't let us talk to your friends. Share another vision. He regrets the first one he leaves behind, the next less so. Soon they are falling like leaves to be crunched underfoot. And then he has begun telling himself it's not only necessary, but good. Yeah, well, that's a thing that can happen. And B2 recoils and opens his eyes. That's all for now, I'm afraid. Anything else? Each year brings him closer to his goals. Each year brings her closer to him. Her of the long arms and the bruised blood. Her that loved the tides first and holds dominion over them. Her that hollows, burns, and kills. He absent-mindedly wipes a line of sweat from his withered forehead. Her breath is on your neck. The long race is done, and you have lost. Mbitu's eyes pop open. Was it of any help? It certainly felt dire. I do hope it wasn't bad news. His eyes flutter. I'm afraid the visions get rather more fragmented from here. Oh, go ahead. Indulge yourself. Doors. 3 doors. All of them belong to your greatest enemies. Okay. That could be helpful. Gather the ones he scattered. Gather the seeds and the husks. More. You'll never see every level of the labyrinth, and that is good. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. His eyes opens again. That's it. Everything else is a muddle for now. Can you come back in, say, a year or so? Sure. Anything else we want to know about these people? Alright, we're good. Take care. Take great care. Oh, okay. I used to do work for Folsom, Mallet says with a grimace. Muscle work, you know. Money was good, but Folsom kept giving me little jobs, giving the best stuff to his protégés. He curls his lip. And I saw the Dendra O, saw the way people respect them, even if you could break most of them in half with 2 hands. I thought maybe there was room for a man to grow here. He grins. I was right. Okay. That's more information. Yeah, see you later. Well, they all know me a bit better now, so maybe that'll help. She doesn't spare words on you this time. She merely nods, her wary gaze cataloging the position of everyone in the room. You seem unhappy here. No one asks what you think, she snaps. Leave me alone. Then she chuckles. It's not a happy sound. I'm being selfish, aren't I? You let us eat you, let us into your head. You don't deserve the edge of my tongue for asking if I'm all right. She rubs an eye with the heel of her hand. Fine, I'm not happy here. I want to go. Satisfied? Why aren't you happy? Keep your voice down, she says, closing her eyes. Her hand slips wearily from her hairline down her neck. I thought this was a place I could settle. For a while I was sure. Should have known better. I don't last long in groups. Couldn't even stand my family. Was better off on my own, even though she trails off. Your family abandoned you? No, she says, her eyes flare open. I abandoned them. And it wasn't my real family. I knew that even then. I don't know my family. Not my parents, not the Dendra, not him. Him? I don't remember much about my parents. She piles scorn on the word. They were butchers, and they had me helping in their shop just about as soon as I could walk. Every night I wouldn't so much sleep as black out, and I started having the same dream over and over. A smile steals over her face. It was a light. He told me I was his daughter, that he was sorry he'd left me, but he'd had no choice, and that he'd find me again someday. Yeah, say nothing. Let her keep talking. In the silence between her thoughts, Kiyatawa stares at the wall behind you or through it. They all lie. Everyone lies. I ran away, she says finally. Made my way. Not much to tell there, or much I want to tell. Just that the dreams kept coming. She grimaces. I woke from one of them a year ago to see Mbitu, our leader, at my side. He told me I'd been calling to someone in my sleep. Said he'd help me find my father. Her lip twists, so I joined. Ate a few corpses, but nothing got clearer, and he's never spoken about it since. He, and the rest of them, only care about the next meal. You're angry with him, B2. I don't like being lied to, she says, eyes flat with frustration. He promised answers when I joined him in this cult. Maybe he promised too much, or maybe he just forgot, but it's a lie either way. Tell me more about the dream you keep having. It's almost always the same, she says, rubbing her forehead. The man, my father, calls to me, or someone I'm supposed to become, as if he won't come for me until I become that woman. She shakes her head. And that's another reason I joined. I kept hearing her, a young woman's voice, telling me who I should be. I thought filling my mind with other people's memories would drown her out. Her shoulders leap in silent, bitter laughter. Didn't work out that way. Aha! Well, that ashen imitation thing is, I believe, indicating that this could be the third person. Why don't you leave if you're unhappy? I'm going to, she promises with a dark look at her family. I've already been here too long. I have a family. I can feel them. I just don't know them yet. So I've got an idea who that might be. Do I have questions about something else? I want to know more about you. Nope. Farewell. Okay. So... yeah. She's the third copy. Kiyatawa, a member of the Dendra O, is one of the affected women. Okay. Now I'm going to have to go back, kill myself again, and go back to the labyrinth and have a chat with the ghostly woman in there, because the third area will be open, and that'll maybe give us something. I don't know what. It's interesting coming back to these folks after they know you a little bit. Welcome you back, Tenderling. Welcome you back, Tenderling, as if singing to a tasty child. A delicious child. What did you gain from eating me? Oh, she says, clasping her clawed hands together tightly. Oh, Tenderling, such sweetness. Flesh like fatty silk, supple muscle, secrets that crunched between the teeth. She chuckles shyly and pats her belly. We could not keep you in. But you are here again, you are whole. She shakes her head. Such a miracle. Looking down, she chews her lip. We are working on making a way home, a new portal. If we do, we want to take you with us. Your soft, regrowing flesh can change our world. Gone can be the wars of feasting. Gone can be the cries of hungry tenderlings, sucking on jagged bones for marrow. Her tone is wistful, but her eyes, when she raises them, are sly. Are there others like you anywhere at all? Oh, jeez. There are many of us. No, I'm the only one. Ah, jeez. I feel like lying might be the right thing to do here. She's gonna know the truth eventually. Possibly. This is a good question. I do not know that this is a good idea. Decisions. If you tell them there are many. We are happy to hear this, she says. A runnel of spit dribbles from the folds of her jaw. Do us a favor. Tell them we want them to come home with us. We offer an adventure. The softest bed in a warm place. A way to change your world. She wipes the saliva from her chin. Meanwhile, we can search for a way home. Maybe it is time. No, thank you. I really do not wish to go back with you to be your food source. You miss you, Tenderling, all of you. Oh, jeez. No, it's basically just the same stuff again. Okay, that was fascinating. Let's leave now, as quickly as possible. Jeez. Okay. Well, now that that's happened, now I kind of want to just figure out where to go next. I mean, we could do that. We could just have them dig to wherever the place is that we're looking for. Things have been changing with some of these folks, so it's interesting to see how that goes. I feel like there's something I'm not doing. There are many things I'm not doing. Well, there's obviously something I'm not doing because we're not done with the game yet. But once again, I go back here because I keep going back here because I just want to see what it is that we're missing. So we found the copies. We'll have to die again to get the. We'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. We need to return that book. I think we're in a good place to return the book at this point. No idea about the murderer. Yeah, we're getting to the point we kind of need to do that. Alright. Let's see what that one guy says to us being resurrected, and kind of go from there. Head back to Cliff's Edge for this one. Not yet. We're gonna do that, but not yet.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of digging we could get them to do, but not yet. Joy and sorrow for coin. That does not sound at all like who it is we're looking for. Strange. Okay. Next. Surprise, mother! Let's go and surprise him. Maybe he will join us now that we have resurrected. I don't really want a rematch. He's moving through a complex set of parries and sweeping attacks as you approach. Midway through the leaping kick, he catches sight of you and his eyes bulge. Then he tumbles to the ground like a tangled ball of twigs and string. Yes! Excellent! That was worth it. For a second longer, he gapes at you through an arched eyebrow. Then he chuckles. You're better than me after all, he says. I may have killed you, but you've defeated death. I must remember. If I can be altered by Numenera, so can my opponent. I'm really better. You want to duel again? I really don't. The man who cannot die wants to fight to the death, he said, chuckling again. When I'm tired of life, I will challenge you, he says, but that time has not yet come. Take this instead as a gift from one master to another. Yay! Dying paid off! He lays what appears to be 2 interlocking cogs in your open palm. This is a piece of my shelter, knocked from the walls during an earthquake. It will not make you as fast as I am, but perhaps it will give you an edge when you need it most. Ah. It's a cipher. I have to be careful where it goes. Small mechanized heart flies apart, unleashing its energy power into the nearest body. Okay. Where'd you learn to fight like that? Studying the blows of enemies using it for my own. Alright. Now let me check to make sure I'm not overloaded. It didn't automatically say I was, so I think we're good. But yeah, I've got 3 of them now. And now I need to figure out to whom to give. Yeah. Give that to her. There we go. Getting loaded down with ciphers here. We need to actually use them soon. Should not come. We've got so many ciphers right now. Okay, so we're not actually going to get to recruit him. We cannot recruit a glaive. That is unfortunate. To help us fight. All right. So where next? Yeah, we got something out of that, so that's something. So Caravanserai. There's stuff we need to figure out up there. Fifth Eye Tavern, Circus Minor. There's something... Yeah, there's something I'm trying to figure out about all this. Let's go ahead and head back to the Caravanserai. Trying to remember where those two kids were that we saw talking off to the side, because those might be the ones we're looking for. I think it was in the government square. Alright, so nothing there. I felt like there was more going on there.
Fair enough.
But there was not. Namalvra. Harafi. Envoy. Silver Orphans. I know, I have to be cautious here. I don't know if we're gonna want to trade more information or not. There seems to be no way down there. But there should be. Something is amiss. Whenever you make out the top of a small dome of scintillating blue energy. It's probably that. Okay. Alright. That's still a thing we gotta deal with at some point. Ah. Yeah, the foreman. You sketch an approximation of the city's manufactory, including rough depictions of the foreman, careful to indicate how they tower over the human workers. Then you draw a line connecting them to the orphan symbol for machine intelligences. The silver orphans watch you intently until your drawing is complete. The orphan on the right reaches inside itself again, drawing out another object that drops into your waiting hands. Another, yes, well-deserved 0 reward. Huh. Stillness cage. When a living animal is placed inside, this device does things. Automatically activates, putting the creature into stasis. Theoretically, it could preserve a living being indefinitely, though the cage's size limits this to very small creatures. This cage is inactive, and you do not have the means to reactivate it. Okay. I gotta go find those kids. Let me know if I find any others. Sure, why not? Alright, cool. More things to sell, basically. We're gonna come back here and sleep eventually. Well, not here. We're gonna probably go and sleep in the, yeah, it's cheaper to sleep out by the, out in the Circus Minor.
Now.
But I feel as though that's who we need to talk to. And I kind of remember where they were. over here. Here they are. Worst comes worst, we can also share information. 5 more minutes and I'm going home. Okay. It's not gonna help. Let me see. There was something. I can return the book at the very least. Okay, I have to find a box. Some dirty children foraging through the debris. Okay. Could be any number of... Could be several different dirty children that we found before. There are a lot of them. Oh, you know what? And maybe not those kids, but because I was just thinking about them because they kept implying they were doing a job. But, others. Do I want to just trade some secrets? Skip ahead? I don't know if I don't know what I have to trade. We can figure out what we have to trade.
Sure.
So we go into the area of relative silence. There is a thing also that we found that we need to bring Castilage to. So we're going to have to get rid of Alligar in order to do that. It's all very strange. Alright, what do I need to know? The insistent voice, no, I don't need that. Don't need that again. Akina, I'm kind of getting closer to. Secret about Sega's Cliffs. I mean, we could do this. Nah, you know what? Let's not do it. Let's just go and open that lazarette. That's the thing we're going to need to do very soon. Alright. Don't have much time left now, so for me right now. So I'm just going to go and... Yeah. I'm going to go back to... We need to go back to Cliff's Edge, really. We cut through the underbelly. It's actually faster.
Yes.
Everything will be fine. Okay. You know, just figure this out and then we can sort of see where we're going here. Yeah, the only other children I can think who it would be are the ones that were friends with the Stickus. I don't think the other kids that we've met have been that specific about a lot of these things. There we go. Come, let us chat with you. you take the thing? Did you take the box? As you regard this girl, you're struck by a spark of recognition. Though they hardly look the same, something about her reminds you of the ghost you encountered in the fifth eye. Alright. Something's weird here. The little girl sits outside the old house, still playing the flute. She smiles. Song today, sir? Let me ask you something. Alright. So many things I could ask. Someone saw children playing in the ruins. Was that you? I had a feeling you were smart. Not like most grown-ups, she shrugs. Seb and I rummaged through the house for something to eat. He got some stale bread and dried fruit, but I found something even better. Here, I'll show you. She pulls something small out of her pocket. It looks like a metallic cube, but there's something strange about the geometry, as if you weren't quite seeing it in perspective. It's a trick box. I don't know why, but it just felt right when I picked it up. She twists it gently this way and that, but the box remains sealed. You can faintly hear something rattling about inside. I haven't figured out how to open it yet, but I will. That's not yours! I have to return it to its rightful owner. I met a girl who's very sad to have lost that. Can I bring it back to her? It's lovely, and I'm sure you'll find the trick of it soon. Good luck. This is true. You're very kind. She hesitates for a moment, then holds it out to you. I guess so. You're very kind. The girl is going to be happy. Red Tide. She manages a quick smile as you take the box. Tell her I'm glad.
Updated my journal.
Interdimensional puzzle box. Small metallic cube recovered from the ruins of a collapsed house on a cliff's edge. It is etched with tiny symbols, but the means of opening the box is not obvious from a cursory visual inspection. Great, now I just have to die again, and then I'll be able to deal with that. You remind me of someone I met in the fifth eye. Her eyes narrow suspiciously. Her eyes narrow suspiciously. People say that to me sometimes. They think I'm one of those girls who are becoming somebody else, but I'm not. At least not anymore. Not anymore? What do you mean?
I'll remember that.
When I was younger, I used to feel like there was another person who was always nearby, just out of sight. Sometimes she'd even slip into my mind, and I'd hear her voice. She glances away. I think I was supposed to become her. Her smile flashes then, and she looks back at you, but I wouldn't. Every night in my dreams we fought, and every night I won. After a while she got weaker and weaker until I couldn't hear her voice at all. Now she's gone, and I've never heard from her again. So many things. Anything more about her? No, and I don't want to. I don't think we had much in common. Maybe that's why I could fight her off and the other girls can't. She shivers. I'm just glad she's gone. Remember the puzzle box you gave me? It belonged to another girl who was becoming someone else. Is that true? Maybe. It did? What if that's why it felt so right when I found it? Her eyes are wide, terrified. It's a good thing you took it away. If you hadn't, that thing might have come back, and I would have had to fight her again. Which thing? Oh, the same thing. Sure you don't know anything more about her? She shakes her head. No, nothing. Let's talk about something else. I don't like talking about that other girl. It makes me think about what might have happened if I hadn't fought her so hard. You ever heard of the House of Empty Time? It's a place where children with no family can go find parents who love them. She shakes her head. I don't need to go to a place like that. This is my home. Alright. Now going to proselytize for the House of Empty Time. He's ecstatic. You got the stickers away. Thank you, sir. We were so worried the locals were going to get him. I couldn't believe when the ground opened up and the other sticker took him below. I didn't think they'd ever accept him. You must have spun them quite a tale. Just remember that you owe me a favor, Zeb. It was the right thing to do. And we appreciate it. He takes something from inside his shirt. It appears to be some sort of small device. Here, take this. I scrounged it a while back and never found a use for it, but you probably know all about these things. More toys! Charm paste. Act when it consumes movement. What? Plus 45% of persuasion tasks. Holy crap. active until next sleep. If you need to persuade someone of something. Now there's one person I know we need to. A small tube of reddish aqueous paste. It is warm to the touch and gives off a sweet, balmy perfume. When applied to the teeth, it temporarily stimulates facial muscles. It's toothpaste of trust. From a distance, this twitch can easily be mistaken for a disarming and somewhat trustworthy grin. The perfume is pleasant from a comfortable distance and acts as very mild intoxicant. It causes the user to seem more approachable and honest than they normally would. Charm paste eventually evaporates, leaving behind a pink, chalky residue. Its effects are limited and tend not to last much longer than a first impression. Oh, that's nice. That will come in handy. Yeah, if your father doesn't come back, I know a place where you could find a new home. It's called the House of Empty Time. We're not orphans. Our dad works in the Bloom. He's coming back. Unless he's... No, he's definitely coming back. We're going to have to find out about that. Good fortune to you, sir. I mean, talking to Nim's going to yield pretty much the same results, but... I was playing a strange rock-kicking game, but the words are different now. Up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up. Yay! Can I ask you some questions? If you want. Your game has new words. Did you change the rules? Yes, it's an all-new game. She kicks the pebble. Now, if you do it right 5 times, your house stays up. If you do it wrong 5 times, it falls down. Makes it scarier. Oh, joy. Hey. Yay. Yeah. And, I think we know... I think we pretty much got all this information before. My friend used to live over there, but she... It's okay, we didn't have to talk about it. She a quick shake of the head and quickly wipes her sister's eyes out. Alright, yeah, I think we're good for now. Alright, later. So we now have the cube, and if we happen to die again while holding it, then perhaps that will help us. Very interesting, a lot of these things that went on. So, part of me wants to go and try to use the cube on some of these other not complete people. Or people who used to be other people, or were destined perhaps to become other people. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. Look, eggs. So, the question, I think, what are those things? Far below you can see a ledge jutting out from the cliff face. A collapsed tunnel appears to have been once used to access the strange objects cradle in the corner. There's more stuff that we do not know about yet. And I have a feeling it has to do with crossing this bridge, which involves talking to Loss of Self, which involves talking to the person that's in our head at this point, I think. But we can sort of start figuring that out. There's a lot going on here. I want to hear about the woman in your head. No. Okay, farewell. That's not going to help. We can't do anything with this stuff. Which would be nice, because getting across would be good. What else? And there's, yeah, I guess there's digging and such that could be done from down below. Let us go once again to the journal, just to make sure I can remember. I know I'm going to the journal a lot this time, but it's mostly just so I can remember what the heck is going on. Yeah. I have a mind to use the paste and talk to Thebros and have him, see if I can force him to put the evils in our head. Because, of course, that's what we really want. More trouble in there. Avina, a young girl who lives in Cliff's Edge, was hearing the ghost voice in her dreams, but she drove it out of her mind by sheer force of will. That is interesting. Okay. I mean, I went all through that tavern, talked to everybody, and went back to Dama and checked with him on everybody. So, it's got to be something else. Either it's one of his companions, or something else is going on. So maybe there can be some drinking that takes place next time that will help us to determine that. The tides. I mean, we could ditch Alligaron in order to pick up this other person. So you can only pay for them if I have the backing of someone influential. Such a person owes me a favor. I should return to the council clerk and tell him. I have to wonder if that was supposed to be that guy down there that was wanting to hunt the Stickus. I wonder if I was supposed to blackmail him for that. Enter the Lazaret. I think we're going to do that next time. I think we're going to have to do that. We've got the box. Avina gave me a puzzle box that may have belonged to the dead girl in the house. I may be able to use it to form a stronger connection with the half-formed reflection, but I'll need to re-enter the labyrinth and talk to her. So that's coming up on the agenda whenever that happens. So, some things to do. Several things to do. I think you just go there. I'm wondering if there was anything else we needed to check out in Darwin Square. I think we're really... Yeah, we're going to have to do some of these other things that are coming up in order to really get in on it. So we're going to save and do that next time. For it is time for me to depart. So let us do that. We shall save the game. And then we shall go back to the main menu, for that is where all things end up in time, is the main menu. That's where everything happens, is the main menu. Alright. Let us go back here. Thank you very much for watching. It is much appreciated. I am looking forward to untangling the last few threads from this thing starting next time. I think that we're getting close. We're getting pretty close. There are just some things that I wanted to run around and make sure of. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I didn't want to... I'm trying to catch as many threads as I can, which, it's perhaps takes a little bit longer. I don't know, but there's a lot in this game, and I'm very impressed by it. So I'm going to dive into more of that next time. And I think, yeah, there are a few things I haven't done yet that we need to just try and do. And I do think we are getting closer, so I'm looking forward to checking this whole thing out more. As far as this channel goes, more is happening. Tomorrow morning, We Happy Few will be going on, and we'll be continuing and with that madness. And then Sunday morning, a thing is happening. I do not normally stream on Sunday mornings, but I perhaps am going to start. I'm going to try something out Sunday morning. Probably around 10 Eastern, I think. And see about it. We're going to stream a thing that may perhaps involve me playing a game. We shall see how it goes. But Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, will be more tabletop gamery. We're going to be running Numenera, one shot, with some folks. So you'll get to see the tabletop version of this game if you so desire. Check that out. That's going to be actually a little bit earlier than usual. That's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern instead of 4 p.m. because we're running a little longer for that one. It's going to be a one-shot that I usually use as a convention game called Towers of Glass. And I'm going to take some people through it and see how that goes. Doing a bit of exploration. So that's what's happening then. Then in the following week, Thursday evening, oh, so much is happening. So Thursday, at 6 p.m. Eastern, we are having the premiere of a new short campaign of Dirty Secrets. I hosted a game of Dirty Secrets, a couple of games here on this channel in December, and now we're going to do a short campaign of it. It's going to be a slightly longer mystery than you can do in one session. And Dingo is going to be back as the investigator, and I've got a couple new folks who are going to be on as authorities with me. And we're going to throw noir tropes at her and see how that goes. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And so that's Thursday at 6 Eastern. And then after that, once that's concluded that evening, it's the first Thursday of the month, so we're going to have another episode of the Cyphercast. That's going to be a little bit later than usual. That's going to be more like 10 p.m. Eastern rather than 8, which is usually when it is, because we had scheduling to sort of deal with respect to getting Dirty Secrets on the docket. So that's going to be coming up, episode 26. I believe we're going to be talking about props and other sort of player and GM aids that folks can use. Physical objects in their games. Well, maybe not even physical objects, just stuff they can use to enhance the way the game is going. So that's a thing we're going to be talking about Thursday evening. And then, of course, 1 week from today, Friday, we will be continuing with this. And perhaps we will get further in our figuring out of what everything means. And I don't know, I might tool around a little bit outside of it just so that I don't take us down too many dead ends next time. But we shall see. In the meantime, though, there's a lot going on, and I'm looking very much forward to it. So, and I've got a lot I've got to get ready for as well. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden.